Okay, so this is going to be a series. We're going to start off with the introduction to chakras and essential oils. So this is video number 1, and we're going to go through, break them down individually, because there's so much information that I want to share that we wouldn't be able to get in everything that I want to share with you guys in one video. It would be way too long. So I'd rather do this in series. And so today we're going to focus on what chakras are, why it's important that we're aware of what they are, and how to identify the connection between the chakras, which is our energy system, and how it relates to our physical body, as well as to the emotional side of things as well. Everything is connected and everything plays off of each other. And so we're able to see the signs of maybe when one area may be out of balance and kind of needs a little bit of nurturing and restoring. So the more we learn about this, the more in tune we become with ourselves. So there's a lot of self-awareness that's involved. It's, we can't fix what we're not aware of, right? So, and our body speaks to us daily. When we're fatigued and tired, we know that something's going on. What was it? Did I exert a lot of energy? Am I stressed? Do I need to increase my water intake? So we have to take a survey as to what's happening and what might be causing things, because we always want to get to the root cause of anything. We never want to mask what's happening. Okay. So tired doesn't mean go to sleep. Sometimes it means go to sleep because maybe you just need some rest. You didn't sleep well last night. But that we have to figure out, is that the reason? Or do I just need to do better with my water, kind of thing? Or do I need the right fuels? What did I eat yesterday? So there's a lot that goes into it. We're going to break each phase down. And before I get into explaining exactly what chakras are, I want to give you a couple of fun facts that I ran across that helped me to make a lot more sense of this before we get into the root chakra, okay? So let me, and those of you watching this, there's a link in the group. If you want to hop on anytime we go live in the group via Zoom, you can hop on and, join me so that we can interact. If you have any questions, then you can verbalize those questions at any time or raise your hand, whatever the case may be. Otherwise, have fun with the Facebook Live and post comments. I'll be following which reminds me, I need to open that section up. I'll be following the comments on my phone and to see if there are any questions, okay? Let me open that really quick. Why don't I see myself on Facebook Live? I hope I'm in there. Oh, there we are. Okay, perfect. Hey, Daniela. Good morning, or for you,
Hi, good afternoon.
So,
sorry I'm late. I just couldn't navigate anything to get around. I couldn't.
Oh, that's okay, no problem. It's 4 o'clock your time, right? You guys are in Malta. Joanna and Daniela are in Malta, and I can never get over how we're able to connect. It doesn't matter where you are. Like we're like everywhere, spread out, and I feel like there's no distance and there's no boundaries when we're able to do things like this and connect. So I was intentional with the time so that you guys can be on here too. All right, so I'm gonna screen share. Okay. So when we talk about the root chakras, I'm trying to make this bigger so that you can see the presentation. Move. There we go. So when we talk about the root, right? We talk a lot about grounding. And I thought this was a fun fact to look up the definition of what it is to be ungrounded. And this goes in line with exactly what we're about to talk about, of course, but that second one there, when something is not electrically grounded, okay? Electricity literally is everywhere. It's in the air, and it's even in the human body. And the day that I realized, I was like, we start to make those connections, right? Our cells are, try and move this so that you guys can actually see the slides. Yes, my technology skills are not there yet, but you know what? Hang in there because we're gonna get there. Let's see. There we go. All right. So our cells are specialized to conduct electrical currents. Okay, so we literally have electricity running throughout our body. Okay, so we have elements in our body that, you know, we get our lab work done all the time to make sure that things are the way they should be, right? Like our lab results are normal. We have sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, which have a specific electrical charge. Okay, so it's important that we have these elements at an optimal level because the electrical charge they give off gives us our fuel and our energy that we need to be able to sustain and live, right? They're vital. So all of our cells can use these charged elements called ions to generate electricity. So we're literally walking around generating electricity within our own body, okay? The average human at rest produces around 100 watts of power, okay? Over periods of a few minutes, humans can comfortably sustain 300 to 400 watts. And in the case of a very short burst of energy, such as sprinting, some humans can output over 2,000 watts of energy. So I found that really fascinating because when we talk about our chakra system, we're literally talking about our energetic system, all right? The revelation, you know, I have a healthcare background. And so, you know, when a person is having to undergo like a electrical shock to the heart, when the heart stops, it's electricity, right? To get the heart started again. Okay, and electrocardiograms, when you get an EKG at the doctor's office, they're measuring the electrical output of the heart. All right, so same thing with an EEG. When you have an EEG of the brain, they're measuring the electrical activity that's going on within the brain. All right, so they're measuring to see how strong it is, if there are any areas that may not be firing, and so on and so forth. So we are not just material beings, we are also energetic as well. So we have an electrical system going on in there that we just don't see, we're not aware of, but it's there. A lot of people are very in tune and sensitive and understand that there is an electrical system, and the more we become aware of these things and start paying attention through meditation, being still, observing the body, listening to when the body's speaking, you start to pick up on those energies. A lot of people are very sensitive even to other people's energies as well. When somebody's angry or frustrated, or you notice when you come into a room and the air seems a little thick, you can kind of tell that, you know, the energy is a little off, you know, something just happened kind of thing. So we're able to pick up on all of these things, even subconsciously, without even being aware of what we're picking up on. So I thought those were fun facts to share before going into explaining what the chakras are, to give a little more, a deeper understanding of the concept. Okay, because the chakra system, you know, we've heard about it. It's not a bunch of ooh, you know, this is real. And the more we learn about it, the more we can support ourselves in all of those areas. Because again, the things that we think you know, cause an emotional reaction, and that emotional reaction causes a physical. And the word emotion is like, it's energy in motion, okay? And it does get stuck sometimes within that energy field. It can cause issues in certain areas of the body. So we learn to identify where it's stuck, and also how to move it along, how to unblock the things that become blocked. How do I, bear with me, I promise you, as these classes go on, I will be better and better at these PowerPoints, at screen sharing. So there we go. All right, so our chakra system, there are a lot more than 7, but this is an intro, so we're only going to focus on the most popular, which is the 7 primary chakras, okay? The energetic system goes throughout the entire body, and there are chakras everywhere. So there's a lot of them. But for this intro, we'll focus on the 7, and then we can, after this, if you know, we can, more than likely, I'll probably do another series on exploring some of the other chakras too. But these are the most important to get started with, because these are your foundational chakras. So we're going to take them one at a time. We're going to focus today on the root chakra, and you'll notice, well, and then we have your sacral, your solar, heart, throat, your third eye, and your crown chakra. Okay, and you'll notice that each one of them has a specific color associated with them. So that's really important, because we're going to be making some connections with those colors. So for today, we're going to be focusing on the red chakra, which is the root. The root is at the bottom. It starts at the base of the spine, the bottom of the feet. So we want to remember that this root chakra is red. Okay. There are certain symbols when you start exploring, you know, chakras. Everything has a color, but it also has a symbol identified with it. And you'll see this triangle facing downward. The root chakra is the downward motion. We're focusing on bringing things down to earth, right? This is when we feel grounded, is when we focus on the calming aspects of this chakra. So I love this image because of the fact that you see this tree, and we're like trees, right? We are focusing on the root. These are things sometimes that we don't see, even with like when we have issues physically and we're trying to figure out how to move forward. What's the next step with addressing this? We always want to get to the root cause of things. So that's always going to be your step 1. And this is your foundation that you build upon. Anything that grows has a root, whether it's a thought, okay, anything. It's like that, planting that seed, rooting into, and then being able to grow from there. So life grows at the root first, and then we build off of that, and we are able to move upward and grow upward. So starting at the bottom and underneath that's your foundation. Like LLV is our foundation for our supplement, our support. Okay. So there's a lot of signs that, you know, show whether or not you might be, you know, like out of balance. Sometimes there's a little too much energy or not enough energy that is within that chakra. All right. And let me take this one step back. I'm so sorry. Chakras. This is ancient knowledge, right? This isn't anything new. This has been around for centuries. Our ancestors were all very aware of this. Back in the ancient time in Egypt, they practiced this quite a bit. They were very aware. They were very intelligent, very aware of the body and how it worked. They used a lot of different modalities. They used sound healing. They pulled energy from the earth and harnessed that energy to help. I mean, we get, you know, energy, like there's electricity, there's different forms of energy, but there's electricity literally in the air around us. We just don't see it, but it's there. And as we breathe in, we're pulling in some of that electricity, right? We're pulling in that energy, and we're feeding our system with that. That's why it's so important to take in those cleansing breaths, because you're pulling in that oxygen, but also you're pulling in energy and you're revitalizing yourself. Okay. Chakra, the word chakra is a Sanskrit word, and that actually means spinning wheels of light. All right. So that's how they described it. So each one has a different color. And when you think about the sun, that's our energy source, the sun's rays giving off different colors. So you've got the colors of the rainbow, and each one of those rays has a specific frequency to it, and it feeds the earth with those different frequencies. So when you even look at our fruit trees, right, our vegetables, they have the colors of the rainbow. And we're going to get into the foods as well, as to how to utilize specific foods to support each and every one of our chakras. Okay, because everything pretty much is color coded. It's like elementary for us. It was given that way, and we've kind of lost this this wisdom along the way in certain areas. So I feel like it's been hidden knowledge, but we're rediscovering this information, and people are becoming more and more aware. And the more well we become, I think the more afraid our traditional system becomes, right? Because there's a lot of money to be made with illness, all right? So that's a whole different topic, but we're focusing on being well. All right, so before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to glance at my notes because there's so much information that I want to share. I have to keep myself on track. All right, so there are signs that are, there are certain emotions and physical aspects that are associated with each one. So a balanced root chakra would feel like you're grounded, all right? Physical health, being comfortable in your body, a sense of safety and security, stability, calmness, right? There's prosperity, ability to be still. You're not fidgety, you're able to just be still and be calm, okay? So that energy that we have is pretty much feeling grounded. When we think about an electrical system that has high energy, any electrical engineer can tell you that, the electrical wiring, the electrical system in the house, everything needs to be grounded. All right, there's a reason for that, because if not, it would be a fire hazard. It would be a live hot wire and dangerous, because it's everywhere. It's so when we think about our body in the same way, when we have so much energy stored, or that energy starts to rise, then we have to be able to give it an outlet, and it needs to ground. So those outlets, without being grounded, come out maybe in an outburst, a verbal outburst. Sometimes people can experience a seizure, so much energy and not being able, it's like blowing your top off kind of thing. So it's like that outlet needs to come out somewhere. Sometimes it's in other areas like the heart, having high blood pressure, things like that. So anger, grounding and calming is so important, because that energy is going to go somewhere, and if it doesn't have an outlet, it's going to build on top of itself until it just explodes. And so we see that quite a bit. We get a lot of brain fog associated with when we're not grounded as well. We have so much going on in our heads, so we need to be able to get out of our heads and bring ourselves down, take in that deep breath, and root ourselves firmly and calmly, and feel safe and understand that everything's going to be okay. So when we have thinking, we're going here and there, it's like that live wire just everywhere. We have to grab hold of that wire, and we need to ground it. All right, so that's excessive characteristics of it, right? So we can even experience things like excessive spending, resistance to change. There's a heaviness, maybe overeating, hoarding, materialistic, maybe even a workaholic. So when there's too much of something, we have an excess of energy built up. And then, of course, feeling disconnected. Now, a lot of times, there's a lot of people who feel a little disconnected or scattered, maybe even after meditation. When we think about that, it's very important to ground yourself when you're doing any kind of spiritual work. If you're praying or you're meditating, you're pretty much you're going into the higher self, or you're in the spiritual realm, right? You're not here and now. You're kind of go to another place, right? So we need to remember that we need to, and we're up here, we're in the mind. All right, this is like we raise our hands and we look up, or whatever, however it is that we're doing it. But the important thing is afterward that we bring ourselves back into ourselves and come into the here and now. If we're thinking about the future and that's all we're pondering is the future, or maybe we're stuck in the past, the mind is in the past, we're not here, we're not present, and we're not within the body. So grounding helps to center and actually also bring ourselves into that state of calm, but being aware of what's going on in this moment. All right. So fear and anxiety is an accumulation of ungrounded energy. So let's see here. I didn't really want to go into the foods just yet, but because I have a bigger list later, so I'm going to ignore that part of the slide. But again, the location is at the base of the spine. We like to use our oils on the bottom of our feet because that's where our root comes out of, right? That's at the bottom. So a lot of things that we can, there's a few different things that we can do to help ground ourselves, but I'd like to do a lot of like visualization work. So if I'm trying to ground myself, I'll literally imagine and see roots coming out of the bottom of my feet and going deep into the earth and deep into the ground. And the more I visualize that, the more grounded I become. I'm allowing my energy to come down and out of my feet and into the ground. Okay, so those are great techniques to use. Water is very grounding. Water is also a conductor of energy. So if we are not drinking enough water, we will absolutely feel tired, we'll feel fatigued. We feel like we don't have any energy. All right, so we need to, water helps to move our cells. It's literally what our blood is made up of. So it's the most abundant element that we have within our body. We're made up of about 80% water. So it is our number one vital thing. And like anything, when you look at water, like the heat, the sun, water evaporates. So we need to keep that in mind. We excrete urine, we're getting rid of water, and we're also hot, we sweat, we evaporate it out. So it's really important to keep bringing it back in. So increase your water intake. I've learned that, I've noticed actually within my own body that when I apply my oils and I drink my water afterwards, like a really good glass or two afterwards, I can feel the essential oils moving throughout my body because water moves through the body. It flushes. It carries all your cells. So that is the most important thing. If you get anything out of this, is that water is so important. All right, water is very grounding when we're maybe emotional and crying, and we go. When I was little, my mom used to say, "Go wash your face." Right, when we're crying, go wash your face. And I would go wash my face, and I would feel better. It would bring me out of that emotional state, and because it was very grounding. All right. Vetiver is an oil, but we're going to talk a little bit more about this later. This is literally a root oil, all right? So that one is one that a lot of people use to sleep when they have sleep issues because it is extremely calming. It's very grounding. This helps with anxiety as well. Definitely on the bottom of your feet. It does smell like a tree. I actually love this. I'm very drawn to a lot of tree wood oils and roots because I need a lot of grounding. I struggle a lot with anxiety personally. And when I first got into doTERRA, that was one of my main focuses, was to help with my anxiety on the emotional side. So they work quick and they really do help with calming. So on the bottom of your feet is a great place for that. ADHD, this helps with that as well. It helps with focus, because when we're not grounded and we have energy and it's just going everywhere, it's sporadic, then we don't know where we're at sometimes. It's like, do I want to go here? Do I want to go there? It's like all these ideas, all these thoughts running and racing through your mind. So we need to bring it in, focus it, and center it. And vetiver is really good for that. There are a lot of different modalities that help with chakras, and crystals are another tool that can be used. I absolutely love crystals. I have a beautiful crystal and stone collection. At first I thought, well, you know, what do these things do? They're just rocks, right? The earth, actually, they grow. These things grow from the earth. It's so fascinating, but every stone, every crystal holds a specific frequency. Our body, as we know, because we're energetic beings, we hold certain frequencies throughout our entire body. We use a little device called Itovi, and it measures our input and output of our frequency to see whether or not those levels are below where they should be or not. And so it identifies those areas that need support, and they provide an essential oil to go along with it that matches that frequency to help with bringing and supporting healing to those areas. Crystals do the same thing. They hold a different frequency, so there are crystals that are associated with every one of our chakras as well. There's a class actually on aromatools.com, and that's one of the resources that we use here with doTERRA. And they have like little labels and stickers to make your own essential oils and everything, but they also incorporate the stones as well. And there was something fascinating that I had read. Let me see if I can find it here for you, because I wanted to share just this one thing about the frequency. So let me see. Where's the one that I wanted to share? Okay, so when I can't find it right now, and I'm not going to look for it, but I'll just tell you what it says. So basically, when we have a low energy level in a certain area, so let's say in our root chakra, right? Then we grab the oils that are a perfect match for grounding and for that chakra, okay? Then we take the crystals and we use those as well. We have it around the body. We can even, you can tell that this happens even when you're around different people. Whatever your energy level, whatever your frequency is at, whoever you surround yourself with, or the oils or the stones, okay? When we're brought together, the frequency aligns itself, it synchronizes itself to the highest frequency available, all right? So when you have stones and oils that hold those high frequencies at the level of healing, and you're down here needing that support, your personal energetic system, your frequency raises to match the highest that's available. So that's why we feel uplifted. We feel so much better when we're around certain people. We feel so much better when we start using a specific oil, even when we just smell it or have it on us. That's one way that they work. We already learned about like the scientific, the chemical constituents and how it works on the physical body. But when we talk about frequency and energy, then we know that our energy aligns itself with the highest that's available. Okay, so then we can experience some healings. The ancients did that quite a bit with their modalities, and we see that a lot with healers that are using crystal therapy and things like that. So if you guys haven't been introduced to anything that's a very fascinating modality, and you may want to look into that just a little bit more. But obsidian is a great crystal for the root chakra. I love obsidian. You can get it in different forms. You can get it in the, stone form. I don't know if you see this. Or obsidian spheres. This is a snowflake obsidian. They come in jewelry, right? So this one, you can wear it. They're very grounding, and in a bracelet, right? So different ways to experience obsidian. It's in your jewelry. So that's always a good, easy way to match your jewelry to your outfits. All right, so we're gonna skip this one. So this is interesting, by Thomas Edison. We're gonna talk a little bit about foods. The doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent diseases with nutrition. Okay, that's by Thomas Edison. We know who that is, right? So there are different types of different ways to create and convert fuel into energy, right? Electricity. Our food literally is, this is the most important thing to know, our food is our medicine. There's a reason why they say to eat the rainbow, all right? So every chakra has its associated foods. So when we look at the root chakra, we know it's red. It's easy. Just eat the red, eat your rainbow. And when you're eating your red ones, if you're focusing on that one, then you got your red apples, your beets, there's a few other ones, but every chakra has specific colors that when you go shopping, you can match. As long as you're getting all these colors and you're incorporating it into your diet, then you know that you're servicing your entire system. But for the root chakra specifically, here's a good list. I would like to for everyone to focus on these foods over the next, at least the next week or so, before going into the next level or the next chakra, because this is your foundation. This is going to help with cleansing. This is going to help with providing, converting your foods. These fruits and veggies, they're going to convert into chemical energy throughout the body that fuels the cells and boost your energy levels, and then it creates an environment to where healing can happen. So your apples, your cherries, your red peppers, take a screenshot of this and add it to your food list, all right? Some associated, we're gonna get into some essential oils too, so I'll give you just a second. Give me just a second, because I want to share with you some of the physical issues that we can experience when our arthritis, okay, the root chakra system, skeletal system, all right? So your skeletal system, your adrenal glands, your spinal column, your legs, your feet, teeth, nails, your sense of smell, your large intestine, your colon, your rectum, anus, prostate gland, your blood, and your cell production are part of your root chakra system. Okay. When you look at the foods on this list, you can see how those help in all of those areas as well. All right. Very cleansing to the large intestine. Arthritis is experienced when we have a deficient, these are associated diseases. So dis-ease in the body. You can feel arthritis, adrenal fatigue, anemia, cancer can result, drug addiction, AIDS, candida, herpes, constipation, low back pain, gynecological and genital issues, coccyx and anus problems, and stressed immunity. This is how important it is to be intentional with foods, the things that we put in and on our body. Our system converts all of these things into energy that we need to dispel all of these things. So let me grab, there was something else I wanted to share. All right, so here's a list of other crystals that can be used. Your red stones as well as the black stones are going to be the ones you want to go to for grounding. All right, red and black. You got your bloodstone, your red jasper, your garnet, and your black tourmaline. We can do a class on crystals. That's a whole nother subject, but these, if you want to start with the intro, those are great to have, like, you know, in jewelry form, or just to have in your pocket. These are great for just sticking them in your pocket and having them on your person. Essential oils would be cedar wood, just to name just a few. I have a couple more slides on the essential oils, but cedar wood is very grounding. So your wood oils, your cypress is your oil of movement and flow that helps with your circulatory system. So of course it's going to help with, you know, the blood system. That's part of your circulatory system. Our bodies were designed for movement. All right, we create energy by the things that we do. Okay, we create energy by eating the right things, but also by movement. A lot of times people, I'm guilty of this. I've said, I don't really want to work out because I don't have enough energy. Okay, but we create energy by working out. So we're supposed to work out when we don't have the energy to work out, because that's what we need to make the energy. Energy is made. And our lymphatic system in our body doesn't have its own motor. That's why we need to do like lymphatic massages and things like walking, rebounding, the bouncing, jumping, all those things. Exercise moves the lymphatic system. It's a manual pump. And the only way for the lymphatic system to do its job, to move out the bacteria that it's trapping, is to manually move it out. So we help it along with our water, and we use our lemon essential oil in our water to cleanse the lymphatic system as we're moving stuff through it. So we are created to move. Movement is so important, and it is crucial, and it's key to generating even more energy within the body. There's a blend. There's a couple of blends, but here's a good one. If you're wanting to make a blend, you can use this as a recipe to get started to apply over the root chakra. The bottles can be purchased on Amazon. So they're called roller bottles, and they have their little roller tops if you're just new to essential oils. Or you can go to oillife.com or aromatools.com. And what you would do is you would put some fractionated coconut oil into your bottle just to get started, you know, just to anchor the oils as you add them in, just a little bit in there. And then you would add your 10 drops of your bergamot, 10 drops of your frankincense, and 5 drops of your cedarwood. And then you would top the rest of it off with your coconut oil. And that's all you have to do. You just shake it up, you put your roller on there, and you're ready to go. You can start applying it to the base of your spine, to the bottom of your feet, and that's very helpful. An interesting fun fact, you know, sciatica. I found that as I was researching, you know, someone needed some support for sciatica, and this was a few years back. And actually, it was my son. He's 28 now, but he was having some back issues and wound up having surgery. He had surgery when he was about 18, I think it was, back surgery. Well, when I got into doTERRA, he was like, is there anything for my sciatica? This is horrible. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, I did some research and I found, oh my gosh, balance is amazing for sciatica. Well, his L5, which is, you know, there at the root chakra level, was where he was having the issue. And I had him apply balance, which is the grounding blend, to the bottom of his back, spine, and also on his heels. And I haven't had any issues ever since. You know, he hasn't had any issues with it since. Or he just knows what to do now and he just applies his oil. But, you know, that has really helped him quite a bit. So the grounding blend, and he is very high energy. And so, you know, that appears in the body in different ways. So reflexology, we know at the bottom of your feet in the heel area, that's where you're going to, if you're having issues with sciatica, you would apply your balance there. You would also apply other oils like deep blue, of course, but balance is your grounding blend, and that definitely anything having to do with your back, your spine, back pain, then balance is going to be there's a lot of grounding that needs to be supported. All right, so I wanted to also share with you the emotional line is actually color coded. I almost like, when I figured this out, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like doTERRA made it so simple and they're so brilliant. When I started researching chakras and which oils that were associated with each chakra, I found that they were all in these bottles. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I started asking around, like, did doTERRA purposely color code these bottles to be for the chakra system? They did. They just didn't market it or announce it that way. So the bottom one there for the root chakra is called Passion. Well, I found that interesting too, because I absolutely love using patchouli as a grounding oil. This is one of those things, like especially after prayer or meditation, it just brings you back here down to earth, right? So it's like you breathe it, and all you have to do is just breathe it in. You breathe it in, and it just helps ground you. You can put it on the bottom of your feet too. That's in here. That's in the Passion one. So there are issues that are associated with a blocked chakra having to do with low libido even. So issues with like menses and things like that. Well, the oils that are in here help support that. And there is patchouli, there is cinnamon. All right, so that's like, you know, the spicy oil that we use for low libido and things like that. But it's pretty fascinating how they have formulated these bottles. But this right here would be your root chakra oil. So if you didn't want to make your own, you can go to straight, you know, using this, roll it right over your chakra. I like to put it on the base of my spine, but also in the front too. So it would be under your belly button, okay, like where your pubic bone is. That's pretty much the front part of the base of your spine. So you just roll it right on there and breathe in these oils too, because they're very, 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 very grounding when you breathe them in. Another blend that has patchouli in it as well, along with some other oils, is In Tune. That's your focus blend. So we talked about how, you know, we can feel scattered and, you know, need support with focus. This is your focus blend. So In Tune has, I think it even has vetiver. Let me see. So we have our wood oils. So we have patchouli, but we have frankincense in there. Lime is in there. There's a couple of flowers. We have sandalwood, Roman chamomile, which is very calming. All right. All of those oils in here help with focus, but that's very grounding. And that's why we're able to focus better. Okay. Amavi is another one. This actually, I got that. This is in the Father's Day kit. I purchased this last year for the men in my family, so including all three of my sons. And it's a very woodsy scent. It smells so good, but it's so, so grounding. There's actually patchouli in this one as well. So as you can see, patchouli is a very grounding oil. So that's a must have as a in its single form too. But there's, you know, Buddha wood in here and a few other oils that this is one of those things where it's exclusive to certain times of the year, usually just Father's Day. So make sure you grab this one if you're needing that additional support, or if, you know, one of the men in your family might need that too. And, you know, I mean, it's one of those scents to where it's like, it doesn't matter that it's for fathers. I use it. Like, if you like woodsy scents, go for it. Like, it doesn't matter. So what else? There's a few myrrh, ginger, and frankincense, of course, are also really good for grounding. So patchouli is your physically grounding. Vetiver is calming and centering. Myrrh is, you know, your connection to earth. Frankincense connects to your true self. Your grounding blend is centering. All right, let me make sure I didn't skip anything. I didn't. Your connection to the tree, like grounding comes in different forms. Like I don't know if you've heard of earthing. So sometimes you go barefoot and just walk on the ground, in the grass, in the dirt, in the sand. Just get your feet contact with the earth itself is extremely grounding. We need that. It's like, you know, when we garden, I love gardening because I like to get my hands in the dirt. It is when we come into contact with nature and when we come into contact with the dirt and the earth, it is extremely grounding. We need that. All right, we need that. Our genetic makeup is all of the elements of the earth. Like that's what we're made of. So connecting with it is very powerful. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Are there any questions or anything that anybody would like to add? All right, so affirmations for your root chakra. There's a lot of retraining that we have to do when we have, you know, when we need to work on our wellness, right? There's a lot of things that we were brought up with believing that are false, that may not be true. Maybe we were, you know, whether it's negative self-talk or something somebody told us and we believed it. I've experienced that personally, and, you know, believing that maybe I wasn't smart or I was stupid or anything like that. Like those things that are said or what we believe take hold and can cause a lot of issues and blockages in life, right? On the emotional, but on the physical level as well. Those are things we need to be able to release and let go of and reprogram our belief system. And affirmations are amazing for that. It's a reminder that, you know what? No, I am amazing, right? But also, I am safe. All right, I'm safe. I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to worry about the future, because you know what, I'm going to focus on what I can do right now. What are the things that I can do today in this moment right now? And those little things add up each and every day, and your future aligns itself. So instead of living in the future, worry, focus in the here and now, and think about what are the things that I can do today to make a difference for today. That way when I lay my head down at night, that I go, wow, that was a great day. I feel like I was productive, or, you know, I accomplished something today, or I did something to make myself feel wonderful, or I did something amazing for somebody. So think about the now and the today, and root yourselves deeply in the right belief system. In, you know, what are you believing? Because your beliefs really do run the show. They truly do. And so when you're journaling, you know, you can say even out loud, the spoken, you know, things that you say to yourself out loud are very important. So be careful with what you say after I am. You can say, I feel deeply rooted. And then as you're using your oil, it's great to anchor the oils, right? So it's like scent is tied to memory. And when we say things out loud and breathe in the oil, we're anchoring that emotion, the memory, the experience. And so the next time we smell the oil, when we feel like we need that calming, then the brain goes, I know what I'm supposed to do. I remember, because it was programmed to respond in a specific way. All right. The brain is powerful. And so we can do those kinds of things. I feel deeply rooted. I am connected to my body. I feel safe and secure. Just like a tree or a star, I have the right to be here. I stand for my values, for my truth, for justice. All right, I have what I need. Okay. When we say something like that, I have what I need, then we start to attract more, right? We live in that state of, you know, gratitude generates abundance. So when we're feeling insecure for financial reasons or feeling insecure for whatever reason, align your thoughts with the energy and the things that you're wanting more of. Because when we worry and we stress, we're aligning our thoughts with more to worry and stress about. All right, it's a perpetual cycle. So we got to get out of that cycle and put ourselves into the right one. I'm grounded, I'm stable, I'm standing on my own 2 feet. All right, so that independence of, not getting out of the mindset of feeling codependent, but I am independent. I can do this. I've got this, kinds of things, right? So nurture your body with your healthy foods and your clean water. Make it like a ritual, you know what I mean? If you're when you drink your water, thank God, or thank, you're the higher, whatever your beliefs are, be grateful and thankful for the nourishment that you're about to receive, and allow it to cleanse your body, cleanse your system, your lymphatic system, to move the energy throughout, to be able to uplift, those kinds of things. Be intentional, because there's so much power within that. Be open to possibilities, and grateful for the challenges that helped me to grow and transform. It's interesting how things work out, right? Like the things that when we look back at our life, the things that happened to us, helped us, or they were things to help us learn from. So we can use that to build off of and to move forward and to grow. I make a choice that are healthy and good for me, and I trust myself, and I love life. All right. So this is your foundation. This is what we're going to build off of, and we're going to move into the next step. But I want to spend time here in this one first before going into the next one. Each one builds off of the next one, and so it just combines itself, and it becomes just an amazing, what you build within yourself is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And you gain knowledge, you gain health and wellness. There's so much that you gain, but most importantly, you gain an understanding of yourself, and a love and a respect and an acceptance and an understanding of what your purpose is, because all of this leads right upward. So focus on this and take that deep breath and ground. Do the things that feed your soul and to help calm you, and to be able to release those things that may be stuck or trapped. Journaling is amazing. Journal with intention. I love different journaling technique to where it's like color coded, to where you assign a colored pen to things that you think of logically, right? And then another color for things when you're in the heart space, right? What emotions, what hurts you, what, those kinds of things, what do you love, those kinds of things. And your things that are, your gut feeling. So you can color code so that you're intentional with what you're pouring out or what needs to be removed. You can be intentional with your root chakra, what are some of the issues that I've been experiencing that are associated with my root chakra, and write it all down. It's powerful to be able to write, but it's another form of releasing trapped emotion and trapped energy, and also creates clarity. So with a blocked root chakra, there's a lot of clouded thought, and so there's no clarity. And the more clear we become, then we know that we're doing the work, and we're ready for the next step. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll have it more organized and together next time. Thank you so much for your grace and for your support when it comes to my technological issues. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's part of my growth too. So post any questions or comments, and yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too. Have a great one.
Thank you, Anna Maria. It was awesome.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.